LEGO Jurassic World! This is Traveler's Tales' latest LEGO-type game, but they take a popular franchise and LEGOize it. This is not the first LEGO game that I've reviewed, and overall, most of them have been pretty good. This was just an odd game to play though, as I'm going into it mostly blind. I have seen the movie trailers for Jurassic World, but I actually haven't seen the movie. I have to assume it's probably following the movie somewhat closely. I truly enjoyed playing the story, as it was way better than I expected. There were plenty of interesting callbacks to the previous movies and fun action sequences. That being said, as a person who has never seen the movie, there were some major plot points that I will not spoil, but it seemed to come out of nowhere, or people's actions were just never explained. The game just assumes you've seen the movie and will just do the most basic explanation of the character's motivations. Because there was like one point where there's a lady looking after these two kids, and then all of a sudden this lady just disappears. And I have no idea where she went until later in the game, where she just reappeared. And there's been some issues with the pacing in some of these LEGO games. I'm happy to say there's no problem with that in this one. Mainly because there's really only 5 parts to LEGO Jurassic World. So all the action and gameplay is really tightened up. Now you might be saying, wow, 5? That's a pretty small amount of playable sections. That would be true if it was the only movie you could play. But surprisingly, all 3 movies are available to play as well. Each of these movies are broken down into 5 gameplay sections. So in total, to beat all the story modes, it's going to take you around 10 to 12 hours. But that doesn't count the many different things you could do with the other characters in the free play mode. So there's a lot of replayability in the levels. So the end of the story isn't the end of the game. I just wish it was easier to switch between games. They let you play Jurassic Park and Jurassic World straight off the bat, but you're going to need to beat Jurassic Park in order to access the next movie, which was disappointing. Why not just leave it all open for us to choose? I'm sure there's someone out there who would rather play The Lost World instead of Jurassic Park. I mean, come on, there just has to be. There's got to be some crazy guy out there who's like, you know what? Lost World was way better than Jurassic Park because it's got more Ian Malcolm in it, and that's always good. Actually, it's probably Jeff Goldblum who believes that because he probably got a bigger pay. But back to the game. It's a bit hard to switch between the LEGO movies as you have to travel through free play areas in order to switch the movies. And they were a bit confusing to find. They should have just had a simple switch to different movie option. They were so desperately trying to keep the open world concept, it made it annoying to switch games. There was a map which had symbols all over the place, and some of these symbols would let you replay levels, but it was never quite clear on what the symbols meant. A legend would have been nice. Now, graphically, the game looks great, but most LEGO games do. They have a very LEGOized look on everything, and it's very fun to play in these worlds. I wish I could say the sound is just as good, but I can't. Jurassic World sounds fine in the game and the cutscenes, but the other 3 games were just terrible. It's like they took a used VHS Blockbuster copy of the movie they were parodying and just took out the sound clips.
If I could just persuade you to sign off on the park, I could get back on schedule.
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Are those meat-eating metosauruses?
Really uniform direction changes, just like a flock of birds evading a predator.
They're flocking this way.
Isla Nubla was just a showroom, something for the tourists. Site B was the factory floor. That was on Ina Sauna.
A few weeks ago, a British family on a yacht cruise stumbled across the island.
The reason Jurassic World was okay in the sound department is because they had the actors say their line, and it wasn't just taken from the movie. But that's not to say the gameplay in Jurassic Park and the other 2 movies were just a photocopy of the movies that they're LEGOizing. They did put some funny turns on the scenes that we know so well, and the cutscenes were fun as well. Oh, and one other thing. If I hear the theme to Jurassic Park one more time, I think I'm gonna scream. The theme played all over the place, whether it be the background music, or when you beat a goal, or just some character humming in the background. It just got so annoying. The title plays like any other LEGO game. You play as multiple characters, and each of these characters have different abilities that you can use to progress through the levels. You can play with 2 players cooperatively, but since I was alone this time, I couldn't test it. But if it's anything like the other LEGO games, I'm sure it just worked fine. You can switch between characters with the press of a button, and the game does a great job. If there's multiple people who are in a level, it switches to the person most specific to the puzzle nearby. So you're not going to have to just switch, and to find the right person for the puzzle that you're attempting. Now, to help you out, you can also switch characters in the gamepad. They also give you a brief rundown on what each one of the characters can do. There are destructible items in the game, and sometimes you're going to need to use those pieces to create other things, so you're going to want to destroy as much as possible. The Legos you can use to build things could easily be seen after you destroy the original build as they bounce up and down. You cannot die in this game. If you run out of hearts, it'll just respawn you to fight again. This leads to moments in the game that are supposed to be very tense, but end up being not that big a deal. You know you can wait forever and that dinosaur in the background is not going to go any further. So that was a bit disappointing, but that's just a Lego game. I mean, come on, even the raptors are tamed down. I mean, you'll get attacked multiple times in the game by raptors, and they'll never use their claw foot. They're always just trying to attack you with their teeth. And you can just punch them away, and they'll just go away like, oh, you hurt me. I'm gonna stay away from you. It was a little disconcerting that they took away all the raptor's edge to them. One of the cooler things in the game is that sometimes you can play as a dinosaur. They can do massive amounts of damage. If you're playing as a raptor, they can even build stuff with Legos. They're that smart. There were just so many things to do in this game. There are so many collectibles and hidden objects to find, and if you're a fan of these type of collectible games, you're gonna have a great time with this title. Lego Jurassic World really should have been called Lego Jurassic Series. They really bury the fact that this is actually 4 movies rolled into one game. Graphically, the title looks great. The sound and the cutscenes in the older movies were bad, but it wasn't something that you couldn't just put up with. There was plenty of replayability, and I liked how there were many different jobs for the characters. Each character has 3 different things that they could do, and that was great. You can play the game completely off TV if you like, and there's plenty to do even after you beat the game. So I definitely think it's worth a buy. Well, that's my review of Lego Jurassic World. Why don't you check out my last review of The Journey of the Special Average Balloon, or you can check out my classic review of Lego Batman 2. Like always, thanks for watching, and please subscribe.